Hello and welcome to tonight's session. So I've gone live a little bit early just to give people time to jump on live if they want to. Come and have a quick chat before we start if you want to. But if you are watching this in the replay, feel free to skip ahead by about 4 to 5 minutes. That's 4 to 5 minutes, by the way, not 45 minutes. I won't be sitting here for 45 minutes waiting to start. I'm just going to hang around, like I say, for a few minutes before I dive into the actual topic. So in that time, I'm just going to head on and share this into my group. I'm using Be Live this evening, which I've used before a couple of times. But I'm still a little bit unsure as to how it works. So you'll have to forgive me if we have any technical issues. There I am. Right, I'm just going to share myself into the group. I see someone's watching. Hey, to whoever's there live, do say hello. Let's just share this in. So if you're in my group, you can either watch this from the page or in business class. Okay. So what time are we on? So I'll still hang around for a couple more minutes, just waiting to see if anyone else wants to hop on live. So again, if you are watching this, hey Wendy, nice to see you. I haven't got a gin and tonic or anything this evening. Serious business tonight. I'm on the water. I'm having to stop myself. In fact, I say I'm having to. I'm doing a very poor job of stopping myself, looking at myself on the screen instead of in the camera. I do that a lot, so I apologise if it looks like I'm not looking directly at you. Okay, let's have a look. Hello, so this is weird. I'm getting comments in 2 different spots. So if I don't see your comments immediately, forgive me, because I'm on Be Live. So I'm getting, Wendy, I got your comment through on Be Live. And then Kate and Gareth, I got your comments through on Facebook. So I'm not sure why. Technology. So if I don't see your comments straight away, forgive me. It's lovely to see we've got a few people here. Great to see a few people. Do say hey. I'm just hanging about for about 1 more minute before we dive in, and I'll be sharing my screen. I've just done a few little slides just to make it really official. So give me a comment. Tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, how good or bad was your goal setting last year? With a 0 being no goals set. There is no judgment here. I'm great at setting goals. I'm less good at actually remembering that I've set goals. Often they end up in a drawer, completely forgotten about. So no judgment. So yeah, I'm going to flick backwards and forwards. Page versus group. Oh, that could be it. That could be it, Kate. Yeah. So I'll just keep an eye on both. So I guess you guys are watching in the group. And then Wendy, you're watching from the page, I guess. So anyway, I was explaining to those of you who've just joined, I was explaining that I seem to be getting comments coming through in 2 different places. So if I don't see your comments straight away, I will keep looking in both places and I will find them. So if you have any questions or anything like that as we go through, do pop them in and I shall go through at the end. Tomorrow in business class itself, we have an actual Q&A. So I will be answering all the questions in there. But do pop them in here now. Hey, Liz, nice to see you. 0, no goal set. Yes, I bet you're not the only one. Okay, I think we are at 6:30. So let's make a start. Hello, and thanks so much for everyone who's joined live. It's lovely to see a a good sized group of you. So I hope you're ready to set some goals. So I'm going to share my screen if I can get this beautiful technology to work. Let's see if I can make myself small. Will that make myself small? Yes. Okay, so now let's just go through to the presentation, and we want to go to view. No, we don't. We want to go to slideshow. Woohoo! What I'm going to do is I'm going to get the comments up on my phone and try and keep them there, because in slideshow mode, I can't see them. I'm sure there's probably an easier way of doing this, but I haven't found it. So I shall keep an eye on the comments on my phone. Okay, let's make a start. So, goal setting for your business. Let's make this your best year yet. So let's have a quick look. This is for you if you are just getting started with your online business while still working a 9-to-5. So anyone who's been kind of following my stuff for any length of time will know that's what I'm all about. So I am a startup strategist, and so that basically means that I help people who are just getting started with their online businesses. I help them kind of get strong foundations in place, get some structure in their business, and basically just know what to do next, because it can be a complicated business, or it can certainly feel like it. So today is all about setting goals, and this is a fundamental part of getting strong foundations in place, both at the start of your business, first kind of actually planning the business itself, but also, of course, on a yearly basis, a quarterly basis, a monthly basis, even on a daily basis. Having goals in place helps you keep direction. It helps you kind of stay focused on the job in hand. So this is for you if you are just getting started with your business, if you're still working a 9-to-5. It's also for you if you feel like you've been lacking in direction, because like I say, that's what goals give you. They give you direction. So you may feel like you're busy all the time, like you're doing the work all the time. You know, you're working all the hours, you're doing so much stuff, but you never actually seem to get anywhere. You never get that sense of achievement. And a lot of that often comes down to the lack of goals in the first place. And this is also for you if you are determined that 2018 is going to be your year and you want to get off to a great start. So with that, let's dive in. So we are going to cover, first of all, the point of setting goals. So I've touched on that a bit already, but I will go into that in a bit more detail, because often it can feel a bit like a tick box exercise, and it really isn't. So I'll dive into that in a bit more detail. We're also going to look at what goals aren't, because I think there's a bit of dangerous ground when it comes to goal setting. So I'll go into that in more detail too in a moment. We're going to look at how far ahead you should set your goals for. And then lastly, I'm going to take you through the 4 key goals to set for your business. And these are the 4 key goals that I set for my own business. So let's make a start. I'm just going to have a quick check, see if we have any more comments. So we've got a lot of zeros for goals there. Gareth, about -40. I can set goals, I just can't keep them. I tend to get other important goals met rather than the ones I was hoping to meet. Yes, that sounds very familiar to me. Oh, you don't think the slides are working? Guys, can you not see the slides? Hold on. Let me know. Can anyone see the slides? Because if not, I'll just take them off. And you'll all have to look at my lovely face instead. Let me just check. Hold on. Let me come out of the slides. God bless technology, hey? We've lost your slides. Oh dear. Lost your slides. We did see them at the start. No, okay. How bizarre. I wonder why. I can see them. I can see them on my screen there. Okay, let's have a look. In that case, I shall just use the slides. and you should be able to follow anyway, because they're pretty straightforward. If anyone wants a copy of the slides afterwards, then let me know. Are they just coloured shapes? No. Oh, you can see it now, can you? Okay. Okay, right, I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. Keep letting me know any problems. Okay, cool. So let's go on to, where were we? The point of goals. So the point of goals is to give you direction. So pretty obvious, I know, but worth saying. The idea of a goal is it gives you an end point. And so along the way, you can keep checking if you are on the right path. You know where you want to end up. And so having that goal in place gives you that direction and it gives you that focus. Another point of goals is to inspire you. And I think this is one of those kind of slightly dangerous, for want of a better word, areas. I think oftentimes goal setting is mistaken for kind of like vision boarding and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that stuff, but that is all about inspiration. There's no real kind of strategy behind that. So that's all about like inspiring yourself and giving yourself the motivation to get to the point that you want to. What it isn't is kind of giving you a kind of strategic, it isn't done strategically. It's all about, I wish, and this is where I'd love to be in 5 years, 2 years, whatever it may be. It isn't about looking strategically at your business and where you are now and setting goals that make sense based on that information. They are two different things and they both have their uses. But what I'm talking about today are kind of strategic goals. They're based on your business. They're based on where you are now and where you want to be, but realistically. Yes, setting yourself a challenge, and yes, setting goals that are going to inspire you to push yourself and to do things, to get yourself out of your comfort zone. All of that is great. But the vision board without the actual strategy side, from my point of view, is less helpful. So goals give you direction, they inspire you, and they give you a benchmark, especially when you're just getting started. So goal setting is particularly difficult when your business is new, because generally speaking, you will set goals based on your previous performance. So you will set goals based on how you did last year and how you think you can do next year if A, B, C happens. If you're still in your first year, then you don't have anything to go on. So the point of goals in this instance is just to give you that benchmark. You set the line, you either hit the line or you miss the line. And actually that result is almost irrelevant. The point is, it gives you something to aim at. It gives you that benchmark. And from there, you can start to learn. You can start to see, okay, I perhaps set my goals a bit too high, or wow, I set my goals far too low. And you can start to adjust and get much better at it. So I hope that makes sense. Keep shouting out if there's any questions. Okay. Sorry about having to keep checking all sorts of different places to make sure I'm not missing comments. Let's have a look here. Okay. Good. So apparently you can now see the slides, which is great. Okay, let's move on. So let's look now at what goals aren't. They are not a definition of your success or failure as a business. And I think this is very easily done, and I do it myself. You set yourself a goal, and then if you don't meet that goal, you feel like you failed. You feel like your business is a failure, that you're a failure as a person, and you know, that's it. That's not what goals are meant to be. As I've just said, especially when you're just starting out, it can be very difficult to get that goal at the right level. It's really, I mean, you're almost, when you're just starting out, pretty much guessing, you know, you're going on instinct and common sense, but essentially you're guessing because you don't know yet, because you haven't done it yet. So goals aren't there to define you as a success or a failure. They're there to give you that direction. They're there to give you that inspiration, and they're there to give you a benchmark. So whether you hit them or not doesn't mean that your business is a success or a failure. And I think that's a really key thing to remember. I said so the second point is it's not a definition of success or failure of you either. So when we're running online businesses and it's just you, you take everything to heart. Your business is you. That's what it feels like. And so if your business isn't hitting its goals, it feels like you are not hitting your goals, and therefore you're also a failure. And again, that's just not the case. Your business is more than that. What you're doing is you're setting goals to give you that direction, and to give you that focus, not to as a hard line of success or failure, because it's not as simple as that. Goals also aren't inflexible. So there is nothing to say that 3 months down the line, you can relook. In fact, you absolutely should relook at your goals and see where you are. And again, when you're just starting out, and I will say this a lot this evening, when you're just starting out, that is particularly important because you don't know yet. And so the only way that you start to get a better idea and get better at setting goals is by constantly monitoring where you are to your goals. And if you're way past them, then it just makes sense to adjust them, because you're now working with more information than you had when you first set them. And equally, if you're looking at it thinking there is no way I'm going to hit that based on where I am now, then of course it makes sense to adjust it according to the new information that you have. So always, keep reviewing those goals, keep assessing them against the information that you now have that you didn't have, and use that information. That's what it's there for. So don't be afraid to change goals. Sometimes I think it can feel like you're cheating. This isn't a game. This is your business, and it's a learning process, and there is nothing wrong with using your learnings to adjust and to develop as you go. And then lastly, goals aren't a tick box exercise. And I think this is a trap that we all fall into. I know, especially at the start of a new year, I love the idea of goal setting. I get really excited. I love writing lists. I love planning ahead and thinking where I want to be in the future. I love all that stuff. My problem is I set those goals and then I kind of go, yes, that's that done then, right. And then I forget all about them. And it's so easy to do. And I'm sure there's, plenty of you out there who do the same. The point of your goals is basically, it's your map. Next week, we're going to be looking at planning, and the planning obviously ties into the goal setting. So you set your goals and then you create a plan as to how you're going to achieve those goals. And those two things together should be your Bible. That should be what you're looking at every single day in your business, that you're using to plan your weeks, to plan your days, and to really shape and align everything that you're doing in your business. So goals most definitely are not a tick box exercise. Okay. So I'm going to have a quick look at goal timescales. Before I do, let's just have another check for questions. How's everyone doing? Is this all making sense? Let me know. Okay, let's see, any questions? So many potential places where questions could be. Okay, I think we're all good. We're all good, yeah. I shall carry on then. So goal timescales. So I think this can be quite a tricky one. Especially at the start of the year, it feels kind of normal to set annual goals. And while there's nothing wrong with that, actually, the closer you can set your goals, the more they make sense and the easier they are to set. You will have a better idea of what you're able to achieve in the next, say, 3 months than you are in the next year. A lot can happen in a year, but actually you're much more likely to be more accurate in your goal setting for the next 3 months. So I've put on my side, start at the end and work back. So what I tend to do, and I'll go into this in a bit more detail in a moment, is to start with my kind of high level annual goals, and then get more detailed as I work back from there. So this is what I want to achieve by this time next year. In order to do that, what do I need to do each quarter? And in order to do that, what do I need to do in the next 3 months? And in order to do that, what do I need to do next month? And in order to do that, next week, and so on. And until I really am, until I have kind of almost pretty much daily goals. And this is what I'm aiming for each day. So by starting big and working back, it feels much more manageable and it makes a lot more sense, and you can see it all aligning. So that's a great way to do it. So I put, by all means, set yearly goals, but then focus on the next quarter. And that's pretty much what I'm going to be showing you today and next week when we look at planning. Okay, so the first goal is revenue. You're a business, so first and foremost, how much money do you want to earn? How much money do you need to earn in your business? So again, I start looking at this annually. And if you're just starting out, of course, this is difficult because it's very difficult to be able to say how much you're going to earn in the coming year. So what you're looking at here is a kind of a combination of practicality. Okay, this is what I ideally need to earn in order to pay my bills, to kind of have the lifestyle that I would like to have, whilst keeping in mind reality. You know, these are my products and services. Is this figure, does it make sense when you look at, you know, what I'm selling things for, what I'm currently selling? And so when you're just starting out, you feel that need to kind of make everything completely black and white and really scientific, and it's just not possible to do because you don't have those facts and figures yet. Once you've got previous years to go on, you can use that information to inform your decision and to inform your goal setting. But when you don't have that information, it is all about common sense, looking at it practically, and basically guesswork. And I know that doesn't sound very scientific. It's because it's not. And that's why then monitoring that is so important, because then you can start to make it more scientific and you can start to make it more accurate as you start to see how you're actually performing, and you can then tweak and change as you go. So starting off with that annual revenue target and then breaking that down month by month. So it might be that actually you foresee that you would be able to make more in the second half of the year once perhaps you've launched a certain course or you've launched a new product or whatever it may be, than in the first half. So you might think, okay, well, my monthly revenue target for the first half of the year will probably be less than for the second half of the year. And you can work out, you know, based on where you are now and where you think you should be able to get to. And then you bring it down and kind of focus on the next quarter. So now let's look at the 3 key factors required to generate income. And this is assuming you've got your products and services in place. So you need an audience. So you need people to know that you exist, and you need essentially your ideal clients to know that you exist, because just anyone knowing that you exist isn't necessarily going to help you if they have no interest or no need for what you're selling. So you need that first level of awareness. You also then need people to, and if you've read my blog post, you'll see I've described it as raise their hand and say that they're interested. And essentially that means signing up for your email list. So that's leads. Basically, that's people taking the next step. That's people kind of going, okay, I've seen a bit of your stuff. I know that you exist, and I want to know more. And the reason that's important is because it's a really important sign that those people are more likely to want to buy from you than the people who haven't given you their email address because they don't particularly want to know more. Kind of makes sense. And then lastly, you need to make sales. Obvious. So those are the 3 key factors that I'm going to be looking at in terms of setting goals. Okay. So the second goal, you've set your revenue target. Your second goal, again, we're starting at the end and working backwards. So the end point is sales. So your second goal is sales. So this is fairly simple. You've set your revenue target. You know what your products and services are. You know how much you sell them for. Your sales target is basically how many sales you need to make in order to hit your revenue target. If you just have one product or one service, then that's really easy. If you have multiple products and services, then it's just a case of breaking it down and setting a sales goal for each of those and making sure that those goals add up to your overall revenue goal. Does that make sense? Let me know. If not, let me just have another check of the comments. Okay. Everything's looking all right in there. Yeah, making sense. Brilliant. And okay, great. I shall continue. So our third goal is lead generation. So again, starting at the end and working backwards. So we now know how much revenue we want to make. We know how many sales we need to make in order to hit that revenue. So now it's time to look at, assuming you're making your sales largely from the people who've signed up to your email list, because we've established they're the people who are most likely to buy from you, because they're the people who've already raised their hand, they've said they want to know more, and they've given you their email address. So in order to hit your sales target, you now need to look at how many leads you need. So how many people do you need on your email list in order to make X number of sales? Okay. So again, when you're just starting out, this is going to be really difficult because you don't know yet. You can look at things like industry standards. You can kind of Google average conversion rates from leads to sales. I would actually advise against that, if I'm honest. It's something I've done myself, and actually there are so many variables. It depends on the type of business that you have. It depends on your audience. It depends on what you're selling. There are so many variables. It depends on what your landing pages look like. It depends on what your content is like. There are so many variables that actually using kind of industry standards and benchmarks can be quite dangerous, because you then start to use that as your benchmark of success or failure. And in actual fact, it may be completely irrelevant to your own business. So by all means, go out there and do some research and check your benchmarks, but be really careful about using them for your own goal setting, because in my opinion, it's dodgy ground, and it's a very quick way to start getting a false idea as to how your own business is doing. So for me, although it sounds, again, completely unscientific, I think the best way to do this is to go with your gut. You don't have the information yet. You're just starting out. You don't have the facts and figures. So go with your common sense. You're the best. You know your business the best. Use your own common sense. Use your own intuition to set yourself a goal, and then tweak it as you go and learn as you go. If it turns out your goal was way off, fine, you've learned from that and you'll do it better next time. But you have to start somewhere, and having a goal that's way off is still better than having no goal at all, because again, it does give you that direction. It keeps you kind of aligned and focused, and at least you're going in the right direction. So if it turns out your goal was way too low, then hey, you've gone past it, you've gone in the right direction, great. If it turns out the goal is way too high, you're still going in the right direction. Whereas if you'd set no goal whatsoever, you could be all over the place. So set the goal. Don't beat yourself up about how accurate or not accurate it is. Just make sure you keep reviewing it, keep looking at your measurements, and we're going to be looking at how to measure success and what metrics to look at the week after next. And you'll get better at it. This is all a learning process. So that's lead generation. So you're looking at how many people you need to be getting on your email list. And again, you can start with your annual goal and then bring it right back. So you're looking at, how many people per month do you need to be generating onto your email list, or even how many people per day? And that's going to give you so much focus. If you know, okay, I need to be aiming for 5 people on my email list per day, that's going to give you focus. That's going to get you starting to think, how am I going to get 5 people? And it really gets you focusing on the types of activities that are going to move your business forwards, that are actually going to start to give you some results. So set those goals, and you'll see. Okay, so that's goal 3. Let me have another question check. Is everyone all right so far? You're all with me so far? Yes. Okay. Good, 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 good. So our final goal is audience. And I've defined this as the number of ideal clients viewing your free content. So we talked earlier on about your audience being people who know you exist. And the way you get people to know you exist is through content marketing. So that's things like blogging, podcasting, creating videos, social media, all of that good stuff. That's the way you get yourself out there. Guest posting, SEO, getting yourself, ranking on search. All of that stuff is a way for people to find you in the first place. And that's what audience, that's what we're talking about in this instance when we're talking about your audience. We're looking at traffic and basically people finding you for the first time. But you'll see that I have underlined ideal clients because, again, it can be so easy to fall into the trap of becoming obsessed with just the numbers. If only I could get my website traffic up to XYZ, if only I could get my Facebook likes up to XYZ. None of that matters if the people who are doing the, clicking on your site or liking your Facebook page or whatever it may be, if they're not your ideal clients, it doesn't matter because they're not going to buy from you. And the point of this is to take people through that journey so that they find out who you are, they read your content, they like what they see, they give you their email address, and eventually you're able to then develop that relationship and sell to them. If they are not your ideal client, that is not going to work. So don't get so focused on the numbers that you forget actually who you're trying to attract, because that is more important than the numbers. So you need to be attracting your ideal clients. So just wanted to really stress that when you're setting your audience goal, it's all about ideal clients, not just eyeballs. Okay, so hopefully got that across. So basically what we're talking about here is how big your audience needs to be in order to hit your leads goal. So it all fits together and you're just creating this kind of aligned flow for your business, for your customers. How many people do you need to be reading your blog posts, watching your videos, listening to your podcast, on your Facebook page, knowing that you exist, in order to generate the number of subscribers that you need to, in order to make the number of sales that you want to. So again, I won't go into this again because I've said it so many times already. If you're just starting out, there is going to be an element of guesswork to this. By all means, go online, check the averages, check the benchmarks, but take them with a pinch of salt because there are always so many variables and it's so hard to know exactly what's right or wrong for particular businesses because there are so many differences. So use those by all means, but take them with a pinch of salt, and at least equally, if not more so, use your own intuition and your own common sense about your business because no one knows your business better than you do. And then you have your goals. You know how big your audience needs to be in order to generate subscribers. You know how many subscribers you need in order to generate sales, and you know how many sales you need to make in order to hit your revenue target. And those, for me, are the key goals that you can set in your business. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't be setting any other goals at all. Of course, once you've got those goals, you can then start to break them down, depending on what you're focusing on. For example, for your audience, if you're blogging, you might set yourself specific goals around not just traffic, but perhaps engagement. If you're posting videos, you might set yourself targets around video views and perhaps YouTube followers. So depends how that looks for your own business, but those are the key goals that are going to give you focus and drive you towards that revenue target. And give your business that alignment and that direction. So I hope that's been helpful. If there are any questions, as I mentioned, I will be going live again tomorrow night in business class. So not on the page, but just in business class. for a Q&A. So if you do have any questions, let me know. Either pop them in the comments or drop me an email, or just post them in business class, whichever's easiest. I'm sure to find them, and I will be answering those tomorrow. I also wanted to mention that I have 20-minute one-to-one startup strategy sessions that I have on offer actually all year, but I wanted to mention them in particular tonight because if you have watched this and actually you think just a 20-minute one-to-one chat with me would really help you in kind of getting clear on your own goal setting, then those are available. They're just $14.99, so an absolute bargain. And we'll chat. I usually do it through Zoom, and then you'll get a full recording so you can go back over it. And I'll also look at your finished goals. Once you finish them, if you want me to give you any feedback, you can send them over to me and I will give you feedback as well. So super bargain. If you are interested in that, you can either type book into the comments, and fingers crossed that will work. This is more technology I'm trying out, so if it doesn't, let me know. Or just let me know in the comments and I can send you the link over. And then lastly, next week, we are moving on to planning. So once you've got your goals set, the next thing you need is a plan as to how to achieve them. So that's all coming up next week. Same format, so there'll be a blog post on Monday. We'll have a live session like this on Wednesday and then a Q&A on Thursday. So I hope you found this helpful. It's been great fun. So nice to see a few people here. And again, do let me know your questions. I'm going to have a last scout around to see if there's any comments or questions. Kate, strategy sessions sound awesome and great price too. Thank you, Kate. They are awesome. I hope you found it helpful. I'm not seeing any questions, I don't think. Monica, helpful, great. Wendy, great information, wonderful. Thank you so much. Liz, love that about going in the right direction. Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, everyone. Really lovely to see you all here live. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow for the Q&A and next week for some planning. Bye.